Is hosting a hot team in Birmingham Legion FC, coming off a big win last week, 1-0 over Tampa Bay. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Justin Galanti. So glad to be with you. These two sides are separated by just 3 points in the Eastern Conference table at the moment. Louisville in 5th, Birmingham trying to make a charge up the table in 7th right now. So a lot is on the line this evening, Gary, and going back to Wednesday night for this Lou City group, it was a bit of a tough one against Detroit.
It certainly was. That was the first minute. The ball looked like it very well could have crossed the line. Oliver Zemler delighted it wasn't given, but 5 minutes later, Ben Morris gets through, catches Wes Sharpie out a little bit, puts it under the body of Oliver Zemler, 1-0 up. And then it was an unfortunate own goal. Sean Tosh, just speaking to coach Danny Cruz, he said he thought he heard the whistle, so he stopped playing, and then it was an own goal. Tough one there for Sean Tosh, and they just couldn't get back in the match after that.
Now let's take a look at tonight's player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. And Martin Powell's is somebody that Lou City is really looking at to pick up some of the scoring deficiencies they've had this year.
Yeah, he's a 24-year-old who used to play for Go Ahead Eagles in Holland, so it's a good background, but 7 appearances, no goals. He's 6'7". You'd think he'd get on the end of crosses or he'd have a bigger impact than that, but they feel that maybe he could just be settling in now. And they're the second lowest scorers in the entire USL are the boys in purple, so they need somebody to come right up front. They're hoping it's going to be Powell's, and they're hoping it's going to be today.
On the other side for Birmingham, one of their real leaders is their leading scorer in Enzo Martinez.
Yeah, 8 goals and 5 assists. Absolutely brilliant season. Stunning. Plays sort of deeper, but then has these late runs into the box as a 32-year-old. Got the winner against Tampa Bay Rowdies, and certainly the boys in purple will have to keep a very close eye on this man tonight.
Well, this is a really important match for both sides, not only for 3 points, but also Birmingham looking to validate that win against Tampa. Lou City trying to snap a 2-match losing streak. Lineups and the start coming up on the other side of this timeout.
The Women's World Cup starts this week. Whoa, why are we at a soccer game?
Well, it said Women's World Cup on Fox could interrupt WDRB mornings on game days.
And when that happens, our newscast on WDRB will move to our sister station, WBKI, during the games.
When the games are over, WDRB News resumes back on WDRB.
That's what I'm talking about, Savannah. Woo!
If you want to watch the Women's World Cup here on Fox, stay on WDRB.
What if we told you that every time you eat, get a new pair of shoes, buy the newest game, or really purchase anything, you could be adding to your savings? With Roundup Checking, every debit card purchase is rounded to the nearest dollar, and the rounded amount is automatically put into a savings account with interest. We'll even double your savings for the first 90 days, which means you could be growing your savings even while you're making the game-winning shot. The best checking account puts money back in your wallet. Apply for Roundup Checking today, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Choose your character. Manny Perez, Rasmus Delofsen, Enoch Mushagalusa, Tyler Gibson.
Let's go, City.
Watch Louisville City FC take on Indy 11, July 29th at 8 on WBKI.
Fresh produce is the best produce. That's why at Kroger, we invest in local farmers to bring you the freshest seasonal picks. So no matter how you shop, your local produce always tastes as fresh as it gets. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Boost by Kroger Plus is more than worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it. With 2 times fuel points and free delivery, you can save up to $1,000 per year. Try Boost free for 30 days. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Time to look at our starting lineups this evening, presented by Breeze Airways. Nice, new, and non-stop. Gary Bailey, a couple changes for Danny Cruz in his starting 11.
Yeah, 4 in total, in fact, from the team that lost to Detroit midweek. Amadou Dia comes in, Niall McCabe, Ray Serrano, and Martin Powell's. And to the bench go Oscar Jimenez, Paulo Del Piccolo, Rasmus Tellefsen, and Cam Lancaster.
So Lou City trying to mix things up, end that two-match losing streak, which is something that you obviously very rarely say about this group. On the other side for Birmingham, it's the exact same group that Tom Soon put out last Saturday in the win against Tampa Bay, and why not when you get a 1-0 victory?
Absolutely. It's the same subs as well, so he isn't changing anything. Just keep an eye out for number 19, Enzo Martinez. We mentioned him in the build-up, and although he's in midfield there, he will go at times past Tyler Pasha ahead of those front three. So he almost pushes up as a fourth striker, sometimes even as the so-called number 9, and that makes them very dangerous in attack.
A note on the Birmingham goalkeeper, Matt Van Okel, with his clean sheet in that Tampa Bay match. He became the 5th goalkeeper in USL Championship history with 40 regular season clean sheets. So congratulations to him on that, and we'll see what happens here tonight. Our head referee is Abdu Njai, and his whistle starts play in a very important evening for both Birmingham and Lou City. Justin Galanti, former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, and our whole crew, so glad you're with us on what is a spectacular night for this match.
Yep, certainly is. Vital match for the boys in purple. Yeah, coming off a bad loss at Detroit, and the struggle, they're sort of slipping down the table. Not used to this, used to them being right up there in first or second spot. And now they're sitting in 6th. And it's a tricky situation, because if they lose a few more, then all of a sudden they're on the verge of not being in the playoffs. So vital match for Daniel Cruz and the Lou City boys, and it's all about goals. Second lowest scorers in the USL. This is a team almost of similar players who scored near on 75 last season, and they're now the second lowest in the entire USL. You know, you're shaking your head saying, how has this happened? But it's happened, and they're now going to get themselves out of this situation.
You know, it was interesting in our conversation with Danny this week, in what you were saying, 100% true. On the other side, you know, you don't necessarily hear coaches talk about looking at the standings very often. He said right now was a good time for them to look at the table to get some perspective, because as much as it feels like things are going against them so much at the moment, they're only 9 points out of first with a game in hand. So it's not like the world is falling apart for this Lou City group, even though at times maybe it feels like it.
No, that's a very fair point. You can look up and say not too far from the top. In fact, they're 5th, not 6th, by the way. It's FC Tulsa who is 6th after a run of good wins, 5 in a row. Birmingham Legion now 7th, but Birmingham Legion will go above Lou City if they win, and then Lou City do drop. So it's one of those where, yeah, a good run and you're right up in 2nd or 3rd, but you know, if you continue losing, then you're going to drop. So a critical juncture in the season for the boys in purple, and it's all about scoring goals. That's the defense has been good. The ingredient that's missing is the Cam Lancaster 20+ goals. Wilson Harris has been injured, so today Martin Powells is the man who's got to make it all happen.
17 goals this season in total for Lou City. And as you mentioned, Harris, the leader with 4, is out again tonight. It's a team that's really been ravaged by injuries throughout the year, and as your group gets a little bit older, that can tend to happen. A lot of contact there, and foul goes against Lou City and Dylan Maris. Looks like it really could have gone either way between him and Anderson Asiadu, but Maris out ends up on the pitch, and you hope he's all right. Tonight's weather report is brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. 85 degrees and sunny, 7-mile-per-hour winds here in Louisville. Really couldn't ask for a better night.
Perfect night. It's at home. It's at Lynn Family Stadium. There's wonderful Lou City fans. Always make a noise, always cheer the boys in purple on, and they've driven them to success at home in seasons gone by. And they need the fans more than ever here tonight.
You know, this Birmingham group has been a little tricky to figure out this year. They started quite well and went on a really spectacular run to the quarterfinal of the US Open Cup, but during that run struggled mightily in league matches. In fact, lost 5 in a row. Started to play better lately, but you know, they had a tie at Las Vegas, which is the bottom team in the entire league at the moment, come back and beat Tampa Bay. So it's sort of hard to wrap your arms around what kind of group this is at the moment. They're in 7th in the East coming into play tonight. And at times it feels like you could say they're much better than that. And at times it looks like you could say maybe they're not.
Yeah, talking to their coach, Tom Soames, and he said exactly to your point about the cup run. He said, we lost focus a bit on the league. We had a great cup run. He said, you know, maybe that's on him. He should have made different changes. Then he says, well, to be honest, if I did it again, I'd do exactly the same. So he says, but now the US Open Cup is out the way. He said, we're beginning to put together a good run. They've got 4 points in 4 of the last 5 games, 3 wins and a draw. So I think they're feeling that they're back on track. And I mean, look at their lineup. Juan Agudelo, Tyler Pasha, Prosper Kasim, Enzo Martinez up front. That's a dangerous front 4 or so. And again, it's going to be a battle for Sean Tosh and company here tonight, I would think. This is not going to be an easy game at all.
And as opposed to Lou City, they are about as healthy as they could be right now, according to Coach Sohn. Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they serve since 1951. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Of course, another start for Oliver Zemla in goal for Lou City tonight, his 17th of the season. Still has those 9 clean sheets. And, you know, in the Detroit match Wednesday night, obviously the own goal, not much he could do anything about. Just continues to play very well in the absence of Kyle Morton. And Morton, another one of the guys that's been out for quite a while for Lou City, but Zemla has filled those shoes so well that it's hard to think that even if Morton got healthy, that he would not retain that #1 spot.
Which actually makes you wonder how much worse things could have been for Lou City, because, as you say, Oliver Zemla's been brilliant. There he is on the ball. He's had a fantastic season, made crucial saves in matches. So if your keeper's playing well and you're still struggling, it is worrying times for Danny Cruz, and he admits as much. He says, look, he's got to figure it out, but he's a very good and exciting young manager, and he's trying different combinations. Again, 4 changes today just to try and get them back on the front foot somehow.
They've had the majority of the ball through the first 6.5 minutes here. It's a Birmingham group that has struggled defensively for large parts of the season, but did have the clean sheet last Saturday against Tampa Bay. So perhaps moving in the right direction in that aspect. Here's a cross that comes into the 18. Powell's trying to run under it, but it goes over the end line and will be a goal kick for the 36-year-old Matt Van Oekel.
Brian Ownby just raising his hand and apologizing, overhit that ball, but that's the combination I'm excited about tonight. Brian Ownby is always my favorite player, and I think he's just one of the top players in the USL. But he's the one who can feed big Martin Powell's at 6'7". So if he can get service in from the left and Ray Serrano from the right, if they can be accurate balls into the big Dutchman in the middle, perhaps there can be some joy in terms of scoring for Lou City today.
Agudelo whistled for the foul there. Yeah, Ownby, one of the players that Lou City has gotten back from injury, and when you talk to Danny Cruz, you can tell not only in what he says, but kind of the manner in which he says it, how important Ownby is to this group. Agudelo on the ball here, moving forward for Birmingham. Trying to make something special happen on the road here this evening. Birmingham 3-5-1 away from home. Just a 5-4-0 record here at Lynn Family Stadium for Lou City this year. Another one of those statistics that we've brought up so far that just kind of surprises you.
Yeah, well, if you're a Lou City fan, the sort of statistic you're hoping is that Birmingham not too good away from home. The last win on the road was against Orange County back in April, 6 games ago. So perhaps they struggle on the road, in which case that's good news for the boys in purple.
Fanuel Kavita playing it back to Van Oekel, who's making his 13th start of the year today. Trevor Spangenberg has made the other 6 for Birmingham. it's not necessarily the oldest group in the world, but there are a bunch of players that have been with Birmingham since it joined the league. This is its 5th season. This ball just a bit far for Ownby. It's taken by Van Oekel. And they're so experienced in goal with Van Oekel and Spangenberg. 2 of them are combined 68 years old, which is older than you generally see, obviously, and they've both been with Birmingham all 5 years in this league.
Yeah, as you say, 2 very experienced squads. Same for Lou City. A lot of players in their 30s. Tyler Gibson, McCabe, Merez, Brian Ownby, Tosh. So the experience is important. You need that balance between youth and players who've been around the league a long time.
You know, I think in our conversation with Danny Cruz, the thing that stood out the most and he talked the most about was just trying to get the confidence of the group back. He himself said he has all the confidence in the world in this group to turn it around, but making the guys believe in it themselves is kind of another challenge. Good pressure here, though, forces a mistake from Van Oekel and a throw for Lou City. Not only have they at times struggled a bit on the pitch, there have certainly been a string of calls, not saying they're incorrect, but ones that have gone against them the last couple matches. And that can weigh on you as a group. Good play here by Matt Corcoran to win the ball back for Birmingham. He sends it out to the wide side, perhaps an early opportunity in transition for Birmingham, but a save made by Zemla. Prosper Kasim had the chance, but Zemla denies him.
Decent save from Oliver Zembla. Not too difficult, but you've got to make sure that you gather the ball. Good quick counter-attack, and Kasim Prosper, or rather Prosper Kasim, cutting inside on that left foot and testing. There's another one just flying by. So all of a sudden, Birmingham on the front foot.
That chance that time for Enzo Martinez. There you see Tommy Soon. He's been the head coach since 2018 for Birmingham, which will get the first corner of the night here. Good pressure early from this Birmingham group. So low ball bouncing in, knocked away by Tyler Gibson. In this last 5-match stretch, which directly followed the 5-match losing streak that Gary talked about, the only loss for Birmingham was at San Antonio. Of course, a top side. Asiadu with it on his foot. Birmingham continuing to threaten here. This is Gabriel Alves. Cross comes in. And cleared away by Lou City defensively. Not quite definitively yet, though. Now it's Kasim with another chance. Cross into the middle, and it's sent high by Alex Croniale. Was deflected, though, so it will be another corner for Birmingham.
And we talked about this front 3 or 4 and how good they are. But you're getting an example of it there with Prosper Kasim, and even getting big centre-backs like Croniale into the mix. They can attack quickly in transition, and they can hurt you, Birmingham Legion.
It's a dangerous sequence for Lou City. Trying to get this ball out of trouble, as it'll be the second corner in the last couple minutes for Birmingham. And finally, it is cleared away by Wes Sharpie. Sent into the 18 once again. Birmingham doing a great job keeping the ball here. Alves inside, cross in front, and it's behind Agudelo. Looked like the right choice from Enzo Martinez, but not quite the right execution. And then Ownby is just dragged down to the pitch to stop the transition. And this is our first booking of the night. A yellow shown to Colin Smith.
Yeah, automatic yellow when you pull someone back who's on the attack, which Ownby was, and does well here to get the ball. They needed this, Lou City, because they were under some pressure there. And they certainly are very good going forward, Birmingham Legion, but they do concede a lot. In fact, they're the 5th highest goals conceded in the USL. So no question they can attack The thing is, they're vulnerable in defense at times, Birmingham, so there's hope again for Brian Ownby, Ray Serrano, Martin Powell's up front to get some goals here today.
That yellow card was presented by World of Beer. Danny Cruz pointed that out to us. How Birmingham, you know, the shape they play in is very hard to defend, but can also leave them vulnerable. It's like a handball there. Instead, will play on, and it will be a goal kick coming, I believe, for Van Oekel. Frankly, when Abdou Njai blew his whistle there, it looked like players on both sides were upset with whatever he was calling.
It almost seemed as if the Birmingham defender kicked it off Dylan Merez's foot, so I assumed immediately a corner, but maybe we didn't see something, maybe we didn't see a deflection afterwards. Anyway, they've got the ball back of Lou City.
Almost 15 minutes gone by here at Lynn Family Stadium. But anyway, Danny Cruz was, here's Powell's trying to get on it, but Van Oekel comes away with the ball. The shape that Birmingham plays with is difficult to defend, but also leaves them vulnerable in transition, which is, I guess, why they've scored a lot, but also given up a lot this year.
Absolutely. Well, again, if you look at Enzo Martinez, they gave us the shape of 4-3-3, but he is up. There he is now on the ball, but you'll see him up with the attackers often. So it's almost like a 4-2-4, which leaves them very vulnerable in midfield.
Prosper Kasim has the one shot on goal so far in this match. Fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Wendy's to give you a free small Frosty if the boys in purple win. No purchase necessary. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's location to redeem. Benny Perez circling back with it and ends up with Tosh, who, as you mentioned earlier, was responsible for that own goal last week in a really weird sequence where he thought he heard the whistle blow, and all of a sudden when he realized it hadn't, it was too late. And as Danny Cruz put it, if that's not a microcosm of the way things are going for us right now, I don't know what is. Serrano a bit heavy on the touch there and then took down Asiadu, but no call as we play on.
Gabriel is just knocking it out there to get attention from the touchline, and they seem to be suggesting it's going to be okay. But yeah, to their point there, Sean Tosh, not only did he think there was a whistle, rushed all the way back, makes the tackle, only to see the ball deflect off his toe past Oliver Zemler for the second. So just a very unlucky situation. They had a ton of chances. Rasmus Tellefsen had one or two, one first half, one second half. Cam Lancaster was through one-on-one and chipped over the goalkeeper and over the crossbar. So on a night where maybe last year or the year before they would at least have got a draw, maybe have won it, they came away with no goals and a defeat, and that just sums up their difficulty in front of goals this season.
Here's Brian Ownby once again. Forward for Amadou Dia. Ownby. And cleared away by the Birmingham back line. You know, for a team that's had injuries the way Lou City have, the Wednesday to Saturday turnaround can be tough, of course, but here's Kasim again. Able to keep this one in play. And retreats back with it. You get the feeling Lou City was pretty excited to have the opportunity to play again pretty quickly to try and wash the taste out of their mouth of that Detroit match.
Yeah, I think all professional players feel the same way. When you've had a bad one, you just want to get on to the next game. Then you have to win the next game. Otherwise, it all starts to build up and you get a bad run going. I think 4 of their next 5 for Lou City are at home, including this one. So if they can get that home form back again, they can shoot up this table, and maybe in a few weeks' time, you're talking about being first or second.
Lou City moving forward in transition here. A lot of contact as Powell's is taken down. Another yellow, this one for Croniale. And a free kick in a dangerous area for Lou City upcoming.
Now here's something about Martin Powell's. As big as he is, he's actually better on the ground in many ways than in the air. Have a look there. Lovely little touch, double touch. It just tempts Croniale because he thinks, look, have a look there. 1, 2, 3. That's the one. It comes too quickly for Croniale. It's a lovely touch from Martin Powell's. When you look at him, you think, oh, he's a big guy who's going to be big, you know, good on crosses and poor with his feet. He's actually very good with his feet, maybe not as good with his head.
That yellow card once again presented by World of Beer. So a big opportunity perhaps in the early moments of this match for Lou City. This Lou City free kick is presented by Fifth Third Bank. So one put right into the wall by Niall McCabe, who, by the way, is making his 200th appearance as this slides by. And it will be a corner for Lou City. McCabe making his 200th appearance in all fixtures in his Lou City career here tonight.
Yeah, this effort, not a bad one, but it hits the wall and comes out. What he does do is get it back into the mix nice and quickly. And Powell's again, only inches away from getting on the end of this one, the big man. And they do get the corner, just gets touched by a defender. They are threatening at the moment, the boys in purple.
This Lou City corner is presented by Wi-Fi. You mentioned how big Powell's is, but you see him stand next to everyone else, and it really stands out.
He's huge. He's getting shoved around by the defenders who don't want him too close to Matt Van Oekel.
So McCabe on this service. And well defended by Birmingham. McCabe has missed a good portion of this year due to injury. Tonight is just his 4th start and 9th appearance, but it'll be so important for Lou City if he can, you know, get back to his old form. Here's Ownby. He's offside. Flag is up.
Yeah, Niall McCabe, an important player, but for me, the most important is Brian Ownby. He's the one who can threaten. He's the one who can get crosses into Martin Powell's. And most managers we've spoken to, when we say, what about Lou City? They say, oh, Brian Ownby. He's the one. If we stop him, we stop the boys in purple from playing. So fingers crossed that Brian Ownby has a good match. Of course, from a Lou City point of view, if you're looking at it from a Birmingham point of view, you clearly don't want him to be on form tonight.
Well, Birmingham was able to slow down all the dangerous players that Tampa Bay possess. Tampa Bay was the top team in the Eastern Conference entering that match. It is now Pittsburgh once again, which is just a spot ahead of Charleston. However, Charleston and Pittsburgh playing each other tonight, and a 2-0 lead at halftime for Charleston. So could see a shakeup at the top of the East in about an hour's time.
What's interesting, asking Tom Soanes what he thought of Lou City, and he says, look, they've had a few results that haven't gone their way, he said, but the issue isn't so much that Lou City are not playing well and they've got worse, it's just that the league is much better. And I think he's right. Those sort of 2 teams, New York Red Bulls 2, and these teams that were really just a lot of young players trying to find their way were easy pickings. There's nothing easy in either the East or the West at the moment. Every match is really tough, and so it's more and more difficult to finish in the top 3 or 4.
You know, it's funny, you and I obviously focusing on this match in the Eastern Conference table and how tight it is, and it is. Go look at the West, it's even tighter.
Yeah, the West is brutal. I mean, other than Las Vegas Lights, every single team is within a point or so of the playoff positions.
Lou City entering tonight, if you're just joining us once again, in 5th in the Eastern Conference with 29 points. Birmingham 7th with 26 points. And Birmingham with a game in hand on Louisville. But Lou City a game in hand on the teams at the top of the table right now, which of course you're doing the transitive math in your head, means Birmingham with 2 games in hand on a number of teams ahead of them. But they have a really important stretch here, starting with the Tampa Bay match. This one, they're going to play Charleston at home next week, so everybody they play for a couple weeks in a row is actually ahead of them in the table. And as Tommy Soon put it to us, we're not going to pass anyone if we can't beat them, but the opportunity to beat them is in front of us these next couple weeks.
And they're good enough to beat a lot of those teams above them. I think Birmingham Legion will certainly be in the top 4 or 5 in the East. They've got too much quality and talent, and if they can just tighten up at the back, you know they're going to score goals.
They have not had the postseason success of Lou City the last couple of years. However, they are in the playoffs every year and trying to take that next step to get to a conference final, get to a league final. Places, of course, Lou City have been over the last couple of years.
Just saw Daniel Cruz getting a bit animated with the 4th official. Feels that 1 and 2 decisions are not going their way today. And as you said, he felt that way about the last 3 or 4 matches as well. Penalties at Phoenix, for example, disallowed goals against Detroit. So you just go on and on. It just hasn't been going their way with the officials. And obviously, it's a bit of a sore point for him at the moment.
Good run here by Manny Perez, plays it out wide for Serrano, and he earns a corner for Lou City, but that all started by Manny Perez's run there.
Great run. You got brought down there for a moment. The ref was going to call the free kick and eventually gave the corner. I think the free kick is more valuable in the corner because it's in a position to shoot. And the referee is a warning with the defender, it was Casiedu, and saying, be careful, keeping my eye on you.
This Lou City corner is presented by Wi-Fi. Second corner of the first half for the boys in purple. Niall McCabe, another low service, headed straight up into the air and then cleared away. Goals have been so hard to come by this year for Lou City. Have not scored in either of the last 2 matches, and 3 of 4 haven't scored more than once in a match since the June 17th 2-2 draw at Phoenix. But as you talked about, it's still that same group basically that was just so dangerous last year. So you feel like it's still in there somewhere. The question is, will it come out in time for it to matter?
Top goal scorer on the pitch for Lou City, I think, is Sean Tosh with 3.
It is.
When your centre-back only has 3 goals and he's your top scorer, it just explains to you why there's such a problem up front. Players like Ray Serrano, for me, talented player, got to impact teams more, got to score goals. 10 matches, no goals. Martin Powell, 7 matches, no goals. You know, these are 2 of your 3 strikers. They have to put goals on the board. It's their job to do that somehow.
You know, when you think about it from the opposite perspective, it's interesting. There's Brian Ownby once again. Played towards the middle for Serrano. Ownby played it towards Powell's, but Kavita got his foot on it first and cleared back out towards Agudelo. Taken back once again by Perez, but couldn't get it through to anyone. Now Perez ends up with it on his foot again, cross inside the 18. Not the best service in the world there. And it comes all the way through. But just to go back to that last point, obviously with Lou City, you have such great expectations every year. However, if you took a blank canvas and took the team name off it, at this point in the year, if I told you a group had 17 goals all season and was in 5th and 9 points out of 1st with a game in hand on the first place team, that's honestly fairly impressive, and it shows how good they are defensively.
It does, defensively, but I'd still be very worried about the goal scoring.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's an important part of the game, and you know, you can't keep scraping through on 1-0s the whole time. So, and again, Cam Lancaster, wonderful finisher, but just, you know, had a lot of injuries, struggling to get back. Wilson Harris, injuries, not been available. Ray Serrano, Mushagalusa, just not enough goals. Martin Powell. So it's just been one of those seasons where if you get one step up and you can say, I've got one striker who scores 20 plus, that's fine. But unfortunately, between all five, none of them are even giving above 4 or 5 goals. Was Wilson Harris the top goal scorer with 4 of the strikers?
If you want to just compare it to their opponent tonight, Birmingham has Enzo Martinez, their leader, with 8 goals, 2 other players with 4. And Lou City, as we said, Toch, the leader among active players tonight with 3, and Harris overall with 4.
Danny Cruz has given them a little bit of tactical awareness here while they get a break in play. I mean, already this season they've matched the number of losses from the entire last year's regular season. There's a thumbs down for Tyler Pasha there, which is not good news for Birmingham. So, you know, you're halfway through the season and you've lost as many games as in the entire 2022. It shows you that this season is, and yet having said all of that, you could scrape through in 8th place in the playoffs. But if you come right in the playoffs and go on and win it, then you've still done the job you set out to do. It's more difficult because you're going to play a lot of games away from home. And last year, Danny said the one thing they wanted to do was finish top. If they'd have played San Antonio at home, they might have got a result. Instead, they went away, and that was their undoing in the final. But if they have to do it from playing away from home, then so be it. Holding his calf there, and he's done some damage either behind the knee or top of the calf.
Pasher, the 29-year-old, has been with Birmingham for just this season. Last year was with New York Red Bulls, but never made an appearance for them. Their first team. Played 2 years prior to that with Houston in Major League Soccer. So just over a half hour in. And no scoring yet here at Lynn Family Stadium. Danny Cruz did say he felt like his group made progress on the attacking front against Detroit Wednesday night. And it was more about finishing than overall creating chances. Felt like they created a lot of chances, but needed to be more clinical in the final third.
Yeah, they had a higher expected goals ratio than Detroit. They had that 1.53 to 1.12 as Nico Brett comes on. He's a danger. He's a good goal scorer, big, strong, more typical number 9 to Tyler Pasha.
That substitution is brought to you by Fortuna. So Pasha has to come off, and you hope he's all right. Here's a mistake and a giveaway by Birmingham, but Powell's couldn't control it. Just a hair heavy on the first touch. Welcome to the fans watching this game on WBKI, the official broadcast home for Louisville City FC. Justin Galanti and former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, glad to be with you on this Saturday night. Lou City trying to snap this 2-match skid. Birmingham looking to back up the win against Tampa from last Saturday with another one here tonight.
We're just talking about expected goals, but even the loss at home to Pittsburgh, they had a higher expected goals than Pittsburgh did. So that means they're creating chances. That's what expected goals more or less measures, is the chances you create. But the scoreline tells you the chances you actually took. And that's the difference. They're creating them, they're just not finishing them.
Shots are 2-1 for Birmingham so far, and 1-0 on goal for Birmingham. You mentioned expected goals. The number for both teams so far tonight is extremely low in that category.
Yeah, don't think either goalkeepers really had to make much of a save, have they? There was one shot directly at Oliver Zemler. I don't think Matt Van Oekel's had anything to do. As yet, that could all change in an instant, of course.
Both coaches describe this opponent as one you have to sort of play a chess match against. But Tommy Sohn was saying, you know, that's what you enjoy, playing against a team like this. There's Maris turning and giving it to Ownby. Ends up with Maris once again! Dylan Maris, 1-0, Lou City!
Fantastic strike from Dylan Maris there, but good work around the fringes of the box. Firstly by Maris, then Ownby, making sure they kept the ball, kept it alive, kept the options open. Have a look at it again. Nice little turn there from Maris. And as it comes out, Ownby steps in. He looks for Maris. And then Maris just gets it from the defender. But what a good turn and strike. Gives Matt Van Oekel no chance whatsoever. And he's a quality player, Dylan Maris. And he can score goals. And this time he takes the opportunity. Edge of the box, 18 yards out. Goalkeeper doesn't even dive. That's how good that finish is.
So Dylan Maris in the 34th minute scores his 3rd goal of the season. And as that ball, Gary, went in the back of the net, you could sort of feel a collective deep breath from every single person in the stadium.
Yeah, they need some good news. And the wonderful thing about Dylan Maris is he's a midfielder, but he's a midfielder who scores goals. And I don't think they mind where it comes from at the moment, Danny Cruz and company, as long as they see that ball hit the back of the net.
That goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. This is Martinez down for Birmingham, but luckily for him, quickly back to his feet. So now Lou City gets to do something that it really hasn't a lot this year, and that's play from ahead. And when you're as good defensively as boys in purple are, it's such an advantage to get that first goal, isn't it?
Yeah, last time that happened was at home against Loudon when they won 1-0 up. Cam Lancaster scoring then. But, you know, if you're a Lou City fan, you're probably thinking, I'd love the 3 points and the win, but wouldn't it be great if we won by 2 or 3 goals? Let's get a real confidence-boosting win. Let's get Martin Powell's on a score sheet. Let's get the strikers goals that make them feel good about the game. But that's an ideal world. I think the 3 points are the first and foremost the most important thing.
You know, I don't know if you felt the same way, but looking at this match kind of coming into it, it seemed like, okay, if we get a draw, we get a draw, but if someone wins, it's going to be something of a statement either way. Martinez over for Agudelo, runs into a crowd of defenders, and we play on as Ownby took it from him. And now in transition, here comes Lou City once again. Ray Serrano knocked down, no foul. So a lot of physical play on both sides, but Abdu Njai elects to keep the whistle in his pocket.
By the way, Martin Powell's, how good was he in holding that ball up front? Serrano feeding off the ball. Powell's was able to hold off his defender and lay it off to Serrano. That was top-class striker play, and maybe they can use him more often like that, playing out of defense, because he holds the ball up as well as I've seen any striker do in the USL.
But coming into tonight, you know, you felt like if Louisville could walk out of here with 3 points, then it would be Lou City ending that losing streak, beating a quality opponent, and saying something like, we are back. And if Birmingham were able to earn 3 points, it would be a statement of backing up that win last week. Here's Serrano off the wonderful play from Martin Powell's. Serrano tries to cross in front, but it's well defended.
Well, to your point, if they do get the win here today, Lou City, they've got Indy 11 at home. They've got a match away at Tulsa. Let's see what happens here.
Another giveaway. McCabe couldn't quite find anybody though. Martinez ends up on the ball.
Yeah, Enzo Martinez playing almost in that number 9 role as we suggested. Plays very high up, but yeah, Indy 11 at home, Tulsa away, then Charleston Battery home and RGV home. So including this match, 4 of the next 5 are all at home. You just got to get that confidence. This used to be a fortress, Lynn Family Stadium. for the boys in purple. And that's what they need to recreate, or to refine that. Every time they walk out on the stadium, they were almost certain of getting 3 points.
You mentioned Indy. A 0-0 tie at the moment in the 75th minute against Tampa Bay tonight. Of course, Tampa Bay had sort of a wrench thrown in its season a couple weeks ago with Neil Collins moving on to a new opportunity. And they lost their first match without him to Birmingham last week. And in a dogfight with Indy again tonight.
Look, and if you look at the table, and to your point earlier about how wins can take Lou City up, if this is a win today, and a long way to go before it is, they will jump up level with Tampa Bay, and if Tampa Bay get a point, they'll be just 1 point behind Tampa Bay, same number of games played. So a point behind Tampa Bay in third, you know, everything's possible from there. 3 points jumps you up the table so quickly, especially if you can put a couple of them together.
And Tampa Bay and Lou City have not met yet this year. So 2 more coming up between those two. By the way, this is the first of 2 meetings between Lou City and Birmingham. They'll play again in Birmingham on August 19th. It's one of those things you get to this time of the year, and I say August 19th, and that feels a long way away, and it's less than a month.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not too far from the end of the season and the playoffs, so you need to find form. Most coaches will say, I want my team to find form going into the playoffs. Hopefully in a position where we get a few home games, but the form is almost more important. You can win away from home, you just have to be in good form.
A good sign for Lou City, and what we were mentioning earlier, 8-1-1 this year when scoring the first goal. 5-0-1 at home when scoring the first goal. Birmingham, meanwhile, only 1 win all year when conceding the first goal of the match.
Lots of high pressure from Lou City there, lots of bodies forward, forcing that long ball.
Physical play to take the ball there by Agudelo. Now Enzo Martinez out to the wide side for Prosper Kasim. Another good build-up here. But Lou City defends well and clears it all the way down. You can see how dangerous Birmingham can be in an instant, but Lou City have recovered well defensively at every turn so far in this first half.
See the numbers they have forward, Birmingham. 5 or 6 in attack, which makes them vulnerable in transition. Again, a point you mentioned early on in the game. But they seem to play it like this. Thompson believes in attacking. They've only got 2 draws all season because they don't settle for draws. They'll go for the win, and occasionally they lose, but that's their style. And I love it.
Martinez with a strike that's well high. I mean, it's so simple and obvious, but when you hear someone say it, it almost jolts your system. And Thompson said to us, yeah, I mean, 1 win is worth 3 ties, so why not go for the wins?
It makes 100% sense. He says, you know, when I make subs in a game, one that we're losing, he said, I make aggressive subs. I'll go for it. Even when we're winning, I'll make aggressive subs. You know, I don't sit back and hold on to leads. I want to go out there and finish teams off. And I'm sure there's a lot of admirers of that type of football.
By the same token, he did say to us that at times this year his group has struggled with decision-making late in matches in which they are ahead. So that's something always to look out for with them, as Ownby couldn't quite control that ball. And if you asked him, you know, why did you earn 3 points last week against Tampa Bay? The reason was defending. He said, overall this season, the commitment to defending and doing the little things necessary to win has not always been there, but he felt it was last week.
Yeah, well, keeping clean sheets is one way to give yourself a great chance to win games.
You can't lose that way.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Lou City are hoping to do here today. Oliver Zemler already 9 of them. 10, in fact, if he gets a clean sheet, 10 puts him alongside the best rookie goalkeeper performance in the history of the USL, tied with goalkeeper from 2014, whose name escapes my mind for the moment, but that'd be a great performance from Oliver Zemmler.
He's got lots of time left this season to tie and break that record, and he's hoping he can tie it tonight.
The overall record is 15 clean sheets, which is a lot more difficult to match, but still possible.
Saw Zemmler today, came into the stadium wearing one of those varsity letter jackets from Marshall University, where he played his last couple of years of collegiate soccer, one of 3 schools he played at. There's Enzo Martinez once again. Martinez for Prosper Kasim, and misses just wide. Good late opportunity for Birmingham, which appeared to be closing the first half well.
Very good chance. Enzo Martinez again in that role where he thought he was going to shoot for a moment, just puts it on a plate for Prosper Kasim, and he tries to bend it in that far corner. He was not far away. Okay, just another warning to Oliver Zemmler and his defenders to keep it tight at the back, because they are so good, especially in transitional attacks, Birmingham Legion. Very quick and some very skillful attackers.
Martinez, we've told you a bunch that he leads the team with 8 goals, but he also is tied for the team lead with 5 assists. So he is not a player who's got a one-track mind of just scoring. And we've seen that a number of times tonight, where it looked like he might have had a chance to shoot and tried to pass to a teammate. Hasn't resulted in anything yet. Saw the 4th official indicate 3 minutes of extra time here in the first half. If you're just joining us, it was Dylan Maris' goal in the 34th minute, putting Lou City ahead 1-0, and that score remains the same at the moment.
I think Danny Cruz will be very happy to go into the halftime break, 1-0 up. Much more positive vibe than the last couple of games. Mind you, a second goal right on half-time will go down even better, I think, for Lou City fans.
Coach trying to find Powell's. It's knocked down, and a shot is high from McCabe. Everybody's asking for a call, and it looks like Lou City have gotten one.
Now, Birmingham thought there was a handball before the shot, and Al McCabe says there was a handball after the shot, and that's what the referee seems to agree with. So corner it is. When I say a handball, it just skimmed off the hands. It's not a handball as in a penalty, but last touching a Birmingham player. So, and that was a header won by Martin Powell, one of the first. So maybe they're beginning to find him, maybe give him some decent service.
This Lou City corner is presented by Wi-Fi. 3rd corner of the first half. Best ball so far from McCabe. Pinballs in there. And now well outside the 18, but Lou City still on the ball. Ownby sends it back in. Powell's heads it. And it's grabbed by Van Oekel.
Good ball from Ownby to Powell's and a decent header, but the one before, I thought he was going to head the goal from the corner, and he seemed to just miss it. That's much, much better. You got to be careful with those sort of tackles. The big man can be special if you give him good service. We haven't seen it until the last minute, literally, last couple of minutes. And we've seen him head 2 and nearly head a 3rd, so that's much better.
Shots now 4-2, actually in Birmingham's favor. But it's Lou City ahead 1-0. A lot of contact there. And no whistle, we play on. We'll see how long we play on for. Manny Perez can't quite work around the defender. Agudelo. And there's the halftime whistle. So it's Maris with the goal in the 34th minute, and Lou City ahead 1-0 at halftime. And Gary, all in all, a good first 45 minutes for the boys in purple.
Yep, good. They've got the goal. They've got the clean sheet so far. They put one past Matt Van Oekel, and they've had a couple of threats, especially towards the end in the air. So, but something they have to build on second half. So don't go anywhere. We've got plenty more excitement to come.
We'll be back in just a moment with some looks around the league, first half highlights, and much more. Lou City in need of 3 points tonight has the early goal and a 1-0 lead at halftime.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie, where this month we've got some great deals, like on this brand new Subaru Outback that you can lease today for just $479 a month, or how about this Impreza for just $299 a month? That's all going on now. That's Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
Monday morning and you look at the radar.
No matter your age,
Outbreak a severe storm.
feeling prepared feels good.
The rain is extreme in some places.
Guidance from those you trust gives you confidence in every situation to make the right decision.
Put your phone to WDRB.com and click on the live stream. If you have kids, help them understand and maybe
Staying safe and being prepared all starts with WDRB.
Please take tornado safety precautions.
What if we told you that every time you eat, get a new pair of shoes, buy the newest game, or really purchase anything, you could be adding to your savings? With Roundup Checking, every debit card purchase is rounded to the nearest dollar, and the rounded amount is automatically put into a savings account with interest. We'll even double your savings for the first 90 days, which means you could be growing your savings even while you're making the game-winning shot. The best checking account puts money back in your wallet. Apply for Roundup Checking today, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
The Women's World Cup starts this week. Whoa, why are we at a soccer game?
Well, it said Women's World Cup on Fox could interrupt WDRB mornings on game days.
And when that happens, our newscast on WDRB will move to our sister station, WBKI, during the games.
When the games are over, WDRB News resumes back on WDRB.
That's what I'm talking about, Savannah. Woo!
If you want to watch the Women's World Cup here on Fox, stay on WDRB.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie, where this month we've got some great deals, like on this brand new Subaru Outback that you can lease today for just $479 a month, or how about this Impreza for just $299 a month? That's all going on now. That's Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
When we win,
you win.
We're partnering with Wendy's to celebrate all Lou City and racing wins with a free small frosty.
No purchase necessary.
Simply go to any participating Louisville area Wendy's the day after a win. Show the club's social media posts featuring Wendy's and claim your free small frosty.
Enjoy this Wendy's treat after every Lou City and racing win.
We're back at halftime. Lou City ahead 1-0 over Birmingham Legion. Halftime is presented to you by Breeze Airways. Nice, new, and non-stop. That's the Breeze way. So through 45 minutes, no goals yet against this man, Oliver Zemla. And he is perhaps a half away from his 10th clean sheet of his rookie campaign in USL. As Gary Barely told you earlier, that would tie the rookie record in this league. Zemla has done such a wonderful job stepping in for the injured Kyle Morton, and Zemla has a chance to tie that record here tonight. Entering this weekend, these are the power rankings, the top 10 in USL Championship. Pittsburgh, of course, is atop that list, but that's going to change, you would think. Pittsburgh is down 3-0 against Charleston right now. Birmingham in 10th on the list at the moment, moving up from 13th last week after the win over Tampa, which dropped Tampa Bay Rowdies from 1st to 4th. Lou City, you would think, would jump on this list with 3 points tonight. A look now at what's coming up for these two sides. As Gary mentioned, a lot of home matches upcoming for Lou City. 3 of the next 5, Indy, Charleston, RGV. They'll be on the road against Tulsa on August 4th. And then on August 19th will be the rematch with this Birmingham Legion group. For Birmingham, a very challenging stretch where Coach Tommy soon said we're going to learn a lot about ourselves. This match tonight, Charleston, Indy, Sac Republic, and then Lou City once again, all teams that figure to be in the postseason at season's end. So this is the time to learn what kind of team Birmingham is going to be headed down the home stretch. We are going to take another break. When we come back, we'll check out some news and notes from around the league, including the out-of-town scoreboard, which includes a matchup between the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. That's on the other side of this timeout.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome back to Lynn Family Stadium. 1-0 lead for Lou City over Birmingham Legion. At the break, Lou City hoping to snap what is a 2-match losing streak entering the night. A look at some news and notes from around the league. Aiden Quinn, the second ever USL Championship player to surpass 20,000 regular season minutes, going into Indy's match tonight, which is about to go final. He is 71 minutes from passing Taylor Mueller for the all-time league record. Pittsburgh continues to roll 13 in a row, unbeaten for Pittsburgh, but that is going to end tonight. We'll tell you about that in a couple minutes. USL on ESPN2, by the way, continues on August 9th, Colorado Springs, and FC Tulsa again on ESPN2 in a couple weeks on August 9th. This is what's coming up in this upcoming week around the USL Championship. Indy and Pittsburgh will play Wednesday night, as well as Oakland, Vegas, Sac Republic, Phoenix. But, Gary, that Pittsburgh-Memphis match really stands out, as well as, honestly, Tampa Bay against Tulsa, a Tulsa group that's all of a sudden playing very well lately.
Yeah, Tulsa, 5 wins in a row, so they are coming good. And Tampa Bay, having lost their manager, brought so much success. It's a transitional time, can always be tricky. Memphis have had moments where they've looked absolutely fantastic this season. So we wait to see if they continue that right to the end or not.
So when I said Pittsburgh had that long unbeaten streak, Gary gave me a look, and the top right-hand corner of your screen is why. How about what Charleston is doing? 3-0 in the 66th minute, and it looks like at the end of the night we'll have a new first-place team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, Palmer and Augie Williams and Avila with the 3 goals for Charleston Battery. So, look, Pittsburgh were bound to lose one of these days. Had to come, but Charleston Battery, once again, what an improvement under Ben Pearman.
It's interesting what Memphis has done over the last couple weeks. They had 2 matches in a row where they got, frankly, absolutely destroyed. Outscored 9-0 in 2 matches, but they picked it back up since then and have a chance to earn 3 points tonight and remain in that top half of the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. We'll take one more break here. We'll have first half highlights and stats in the start of the second half when we come back. Lou City 1, Birmingham 0 at the break.
Did you know taking care of your teeth and gums helps control blood sugar levels? A healthy smile means a healthier you. We can help you get there. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com. Did you know taking care of your teeth and gums helps lower your risk of heart attack? A healthy smile means a healthier you. We can help you get there. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
Well, they say the grass is greener there, but ours is dreamy blue. And there's no place I would rather be than Kentucky with you.
Back at halftime at Lynn Family Stadium. Halftime is presented to you by Breeze Airways. Nice, new, and nonstop. That's the Breeze way. We take a look at the highlights from the opening half here in Louisville. And it was all in all a pretty good first half for Lou City. Early opportunity here, though, for the visitors to get on the board.
Yeah, Prosper Kasim does so well to find space on the right-hand side, cuts inside. Decent effort, but Zemmler, body behind the ball, makes a good save. And just a warning of how in transition Birmingham Legion can be pretty lethal. And then just trying to fiddle around on the edge of the box, losing possession, turnover ball, comes to Enzo Martinez. And his shot just kicked wide. Crucial moment. And then the goal itself, Dylan Mares, or Mares rather, Dylan Mares on the edge of the box. Gets in there, Brian Obi tries to put him through, defender doesn't clear properly, and from just inside the box, Mares sticks it in the far corner. If you look at Matt Van Oekel, doesn't even get a dive in. That's how good that finish is. And I'm sure Lou City fans are going, at last, something positive from our team.
First goal in the last 3 matches for Lou City. But now a team that's as good as any in this league defensively has the 1-0 lead at the half. Now let's look at our first half stats brought to you by Pave Masters. Anything stand out to you there?
Well, shots on target are all that count really, in the sense that Lou City have had more shots on target than Birmingham Legion. Expected goals tells a slightly different story. It's 0.13 for Lou City and 0.31 for Legion. So Legion's more than double the created chances, which is what expected goals more or less is. So yeah, it's been a tight first half, not much, and certainly Birmingham have shown that they can be a dangerous side, especially on the quick counter-attacks.
Abdu Njai blows the whistle. Second half underway here in Louisville. A big night for both of these groups as Powell's is brought down. We featured him prior to the match, and he's made a pretty good impact tonight.
I think so. I really think they could use him more on the ground, knocking the ball up to him. He holds it up so well. But if Brian Ownby and Ray Serrano do what they did last 5 minutes, get some decent crosses into the big man, there's no reason why he can't get his first goal here tonight and put this game to bed.
Powell's just joined the team back in May, of course. So, yeah, I mean, it can take a while to get acclimated, especially when you're not coming from, you know, say another team in the league or another league in America. He's coming from a new country, or from a different country, and it's not only a new team for him, but a completely new environment. So you can understand why maybe it has taken some time for him to get comfortable.
I think it does for most players who come from Europe. And, you know, you're speaking a different language if you come from the likes of Holland, although they can speak English quite well, but still, it's comfortable in Dutch. The same problem if you come from Germany or France. You've got to just sort of, as you say, acclimate to the travel. You know, if you play in Holland, it's such a small country, you probably spend, you know, an hour in the bus as your furthest away trip. Here it's 5 hours by plane. You know, your time changes by 3 hours, the temperature's different. You've got to get your head around all that, and I don't know if he's come with a family or not, but if you do, your family has to settle. So yeah, to your point's very valid. It normally takes a good few months, and all of a sudden your game starts to come together. But again, he can't do much if he doesn't get good service from Ray Serrano and Brian Ownby in particular.
Amazingly, this is only the 5th time this year that Lou City have held the halftime lead. 2-1-1 record, went ahead at the half, but for a team of this quality, here's Maris once again. Has the goal already tonight. Lays it back for Gibson, and now it's Brian Ownby. Maris, good job to keep the ball, and Ownby once again.
By the way, quick credit to referee Abdu Njai there. As Brian Ownby went down, he was about to blow his whistle, and then the ball went into the box and he allowed play on. That's good refereeing.
Just hard to believe, with this being the 20th match. It's only the 5th time Lou City have held a halftime lead, but that's the case. They've obviously been leveled quite a bit at the half, 0-0 quite a bit, but they've been successful when leading at halftime, and this is the 13th time in 20 matches in which Lou City have not allowed a goal in the first half.
Yeah, it hasn't been the same as previous seasons. I think that's the point you're making, and I think Lou City fans would agree with you. You know, year after year, they've just been smashing teams at home, getting those first half leads this year. But sometimes you've got to dig deep, and tough seasons bring out the character in the players and the coaching staff, and that in itself is something to be admired.
Foul here on Agudelo. And I just want to go back to a point you brought up in the first half about how much more challenging the league is as a whole this year. I mean, you hear it from every coach you talk to, with the academy teams no longer being in the league. Cross comes in. Ownby was thinking about a half volley, but it never got through to him. So it's not just lip service from coaches of teams that might be struggling. I mean, to a man, every single coach mentions how much better the league is this year and how much more challenging it is week in, week out. Unlike the way it used to be, where frankly, you know, you could sort of take a night off and still walk out of there with 3 points.
Absolutely. Well, Miami FC are second bottom. They're a very good side, and they are only 4 points off a playoff place. I mean, 4 points, you know, a win and a draw and you're up there. So, and I would think Miami FC are very, very likely to go and put those sort of results together. That's in fact, they're 1-0 up away at San Antonio at the moment. So Yeah, to your point, it's a very, very tight league, and there's going to be 3 or 4 good teams who do not make the playoffs.
And on the same token, if you think about the top of the table, probably would be surprising if anyone ran away with the league, as Ownby's cross is off of Kronyale, and it will be a corner for Lou City.
Well, Charleston's win puts them 2 points behind Pittsburgh, same number of games played. So again, 2 points is nothing in a season. That can all change in one weekend.
This Lou City corner is presented by Wi-Fi. First half, Lou City had 3 corners, so this is the 4th of the evening. And this one taken by Van Oekel. We mentioned Van Oekel with his 40th regular season shutout of his career. Last match against Tampa Bay, which is tied for 5th all time. And he will remain tied for 5th after tonight, obviously. Powell's using that big frame to hold the ball as long as he could, but ends up as a throw for Birmingham. Only 1 sub used so far, and it was by Birmingham in that first half when Nico Brett had to come in for an injured Tyler Pasher.
All sorts of options on the bench, and normally about now the managers are beginning to wonder, do I make any changes? Probably about the 60th minute they start to bring players in. Of course, you look at Cam Lancaster and think maybe you can play him up front with Powell's or replace Powell's. Elijah Winder's an option as well. Paolo Del Piccolo with all his experience in midfield. But the one that would always spring to mind for me is Cam Lancaster. That's assuming you want to get other goals. If you want to hold on to the 1-0 lead and play more defensive-minded. Of course, you can bring in the likes of Carlos Mogul if he's recovered, I think, from the broken nose that he got against Atlante. Rasmus Tellefsen's another option. So that'll be going through Lenny Cruz's mind at the moment, and that of his coaching staff.
Amadou Dia trying to get it forward, and falling on it is Van Oekel. Birmingham's had a couple chances in transition to attack so far tonight, but nothing capitalized on yet. Sort of feels like if they are going to score, that might be the way this evening.
Certainly Prosper Kasim on the ball now on the one side and Agadello on the other. Dangerous players, and Nico Brett through the middle. They've certainly got the ability to score goals, no question about it, but so far the defense have been good for Lou City, which has been the story for most of the season. That's been the upside in this season's story. The downside, of course, has been the lack of goals up front.
Agadello does well to stay on the ball, feeds it out wide, and this will be a corner for Birmingham. Started with Agadello keeping the ball there, and now an opportunity for the visitors.
Good block there by Sean Tosh, as always.
Next Saturday, Lou City is going to be hosting rival Indy 11 in the annual Fill the Fam game, where they're hoping to set the attendance record here at Lynn Family Stadium. They did it last year against Tampa with 14,673, and hoping for more this year as we are level. Juan Agadello's 4th of the year, 1-1.
That's a good header by Juan Agudelo. It doesn't give Oliver Zemler much chance. He puts lots of power on it, but from a set piece, you've got to be marking tightly. And that's been the strength of Lou City this season. And we did say that they've got a lot of scoring ability, Birmingham Legion, but let's have a look and see how the marking is. Ball whipped in from Corcoran. Juan Agudelo with a diving header. Looks like he lost his marker, got to the near post. Big Martin Powers is in that area. When the ball comes, he sort of goes towards it, but it's Manny Perez who seems to be beaten to the ball. And that's a real blow for Danny Cruz and company. From a set piece in particular, that's extra annoying, but no question that Juan Agudelo is a really, really difficult player to keep tabs in. Got a history with MLS football, of course, with New England Rebs and USA as well, so he's a quality player.
Well, we said when Lou City scored, it was a collective deep breath. When that ball found the back of the net for Birmingham, a collective groan here at Lynn Family Stadium. 1-1 now. Again on Agudelo's 4th goal this season. We'll see how Lou City recovers from that. Here's Agudelo once again. Had a slip there, and it ends up with Prosper Kasim. Cross in towards the back post, Agudelo again, and he's called for a foul.
It didn't go far wide. I mean, it didn't go in at the end, so in the end, it makes no difference what the referee decides. But for a second, I thought that was going to be a 2-1 lead. He gets up so well. Now just looking at Sean Tosh, who's on the ground. Now McCabe, annoyed with what happened. It looked like Amadou Dia went down, but a little bit theatrically. They're saying it was a trip. Referee saying no, it wasn't. Might be what has annoyed one or two Lou City players.
So now McCabe shown a yellow, and that is brought to you by World of Beer. By the way, Matt Corcoran with the assist on the goal for Agudelo, his 2nd of the year.
Silly yellow to get for Niall McCabe, arguing with the referee and complaining. You know, if you get it for a tackle on the edge of the box in a dangerous situation, that's a yellow card you accept.
Ooh, nice play by Brian Ownby. Ownby's got a lot of room here. Cross it front. Oh, it's stuck. Powell's on the follow-up, and a 3rd opportunity just wide.
Wow, what a miss there. Great little bit of play from Brian Ownby. Absolutely brilliant. And that was kicked off the line. Fantastic defending by Birmingham Legion, but then Ray Serrano still had a chance to tuck it in far corner and misses the target. So an incredible opportunity to have gone back in the lead for the boys in purple. And it wasn't taken. I'd like to see that again, because Brian Ownby, once again, we talk about him being fantastic on the left-hand side, but he skipped one tackle, which, if the tackle had been made, would have been a yellow card at least. Creates the first chance, which gets kicked off the line, and then it comes back to Ray Serrano.
You know, when we talk with Danny Cruz, he mentioned how confidence is something of an issue at the moment, you know, trying to get that back. But he wants his team to stop having the feelings of, you know, nothing can go right for us. Why is this happening to us? That old woe is me type of mentality. Watching Lou City's body language, I think the rest of the night is going to be very important. The 1-0 lead gone, golden chance to go back ahead there gone. Can they keep that energy level up for the final half hour plus?
And certainly for Ray Serrano, we've been asking for goals from him. And that was a chance for him to have scored a crucial one, and unfortunately didn't take it.
Here comes Birmingham. Trying to build off that goal that came just about 4 minutes ago from Juan Agudelo. We reached the 1 hour mark here at Lynn Family Stadium. Justin Galanti, former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, and our whole crew. So glad you're with us this evening for a match that's really crucial for different reasons for these two sides. Lou City looking to get back to winning ways, stop a 2-match losing streak. Birmingham looking to build off of a win against Tampa Bay last weekend. Right now we sit at 1-1. Shots 4-4 at the moment. Each team with just one on target that is found in the back of the net. Ownby, another physical play, wins the ball, and we play on. Ownby trying to find Powell's. It got tipped on the way in, and Van Oekel has it. I think for the most part tonight, Abdu Njai, our head referee, has certainly let the players decide things.
Yeah, he felt it wasn't a foul on Corcoran. There wasn't much contact from Brian Ownby. These days, of course, some players make more of it. I'm not saying Corcoran did in this case, but some players do, so very difficult for the referees to decide.
Racing Louisville fans, the next home match is on Saturday, August 19th at 7:30 p.m. against Angel City. Come out to Lynn Family Stadium to support your Racing Louisville FC. Tickets are on sale now at racingloufc.com/tickets. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention last night, United States women's national team, the 3-0 win against Vietnam in their World Cup opener.
Fantastic, wasn't it? Brilliant win. And Racing Louisville got a win last night at the same stadium. Very, very decent win it was as well against Chicago Red Stars.
All good things. See if we can't get another look at that last foul that left Matthew Corcoran down on the pitch.
Might have just been a stud connected. Brian Ownby certainly tried to pull his foot away. Maybe that's what the referee saw. I felt that it wasn't a major tackle on Corcoran, but it seems like he really felt that. It looks like he's good and ready to come back on the pitch. I'm just wondering at this stage now with Danny Cruz whether it's now time for him to make some changes, especially if he wants to win this match, which I'm sure he's desperate to. Got to be positive. Got to bring on Cam Lancaster, maybe Del Piccolo, with some instructions as to how to attack and get at the defense of Birmingham Legion, which, as we've discussed, has not been their strong point this season.
Worth mentioning again that Lou City played Wednesday, Birmingham did not. And also important to bring up once more that the point that you made earlier, Birmingham has only tied twice all year. So as this game gets later and remains 1-1, you know the visitors are going to continue to be aggressive, that's for sure. And you would expect the same from Lou City. A night where they feel like they need 3 points. Ownby was going down there, and it was not deflected, and there's no foul, so simply a goal kick for Matt Van Oekel.
There's a crowd letting the ref know their thoughts, getting behind Brian Ownby. This is very delicately balanced, this match at 1-1. See a nice high press coming from the boys in purple.
Certainly has been entertaining. Pretty evenly played. Possession just slightly favoring Lou City so far tonight. You look at Colin Smith there, who is playing actually on loan from FC Dallas, and he's been recalled couple times, actually, to Dallas over the last couple weeks. Played a little bit for the MLS side. Sometimes he's gone and not seen the pitch, but Tommy soon was commending how the young Smith, who's just 19 years of age, has handled everything, playing really well for this Birmingham group and also getting the opportunity to play for his club, FC Dallas, quite a bit of late.
Yeah, he got 54 minutes against Austin FC on June 21st, which is fairly recent. So yeah, back and forth. He's with Birmingham, then he's with FC Dallas and back again. But it's all part of giving him minutes, and then of course doing the job he needs to do for FC Dallas when required.
Here's Amadou Dia. Good build up here. Ownby again, lays it off, and a stop made on McCabe by Van Oekel.
Good hands, Van Oekel. It's always a danger there that you parry it out to oncoming traffic, and held on to that really well.
Hard foul behind the play here. And Ownby is shown a yellow. Narrowly avoided a foul called against him at nearly the same spot a couple minutes ago, but does not get away with it this time. Looks like both sides are getting set to make substitutions here. By the way, that yellow brought to you by World of Beer. Jacob Roof is coming on and will replace Colin Smith. And for Lou City, Cam Lancaster, as well as Rasmus Tellefsen, come in for Danny Cruz. You saw Powell's leave the match, and Niall McCabe will leave as well.
Well, good to see Cam Lancaster come on. He's got, what is it, just over 20 minutes to make an impact. It's fresh legs, fresh mind. He's very sharp around the goals. Brilliant finisher. Knows exactly where the goal is, so ideal person to bring on.
Those subs, by the way, brought to you by Fortna.
Rasmus Tellefsen, well, he had a couple of chances against Detroit midweek, which he didn't pull the trigger on. I'm sure if he does get a chance before the end of this game, he'll have these words of his manager ringing in his ears. Have a shot, try and finish, try and get us the goal we need.
Other side, Jacob Roof appearing for the 12th time this year for Birmingham, has 1 assist. Good run here, cross towards Ownby, trying to redirect it on target, couldn't quite do it.
Nearly comes to Ownby. He's got a stretch to get there, and the defender beats him to it. It's a lovely play out the back, lovely, beautiful pass from Sean Tosh to get things going for Ray Serrano. So you do get the sense that the energy and the momentum is slightly more with Lou City at the moment. And Lancaster on the edge of the box, just desperate to try and get in there and put some pressure on Matt Van Oekel.
Just taking a glance at the out-of-town scoreboard. Charleston about to finish off what'll be a 3-1 win against Pittsburgh. How about that Memphis against Orange County match? It's 3-3 at halftime.
Wow, at halftime.
Yes.
Wow. Orange County, amazing. They changed their coach, and since then, I think they've won all but one of their games. It's been a fantastic run.
You know, right now, as we are just barely past the halfway point of the season, you could make a somewhat reasonable argument that every team outside of one in the East and one in the West still has a chance to make the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Certainly in the West, the team that's sitting second bottom, RGV, is 2 points of a playoff place. They're sitting second bottom. They're 2 points off a playoff place. In the East, it's a little bit more. Miami's sitting second bottom, and they are currently, well, in fact, the way they're going with the results, they're leading at the moment in San Antonio. They'd also be just 2 points off. So how tight is that if Miami can hold on to the result at San Antonio?
It's going to make for a really fun back half of the regular season. Another foul here against Lou City. A free kick coming for Birmingham as we're into the 71st minute. By the way, that last yellow card was brought to you by World of Beer.
Thank you to all of our fans for your support of local City FC.
Well, Lou City have conceded from one set piece tonight. They don't want to concede from a second, so everybody will have to get nice and tight, stick with their man, not allow any free headers.
Oliver Zemla directing some traffic. Not much doing on that service for Birmingham. Now a low cross comes in, sent away by Sean Tosh. Took some contact from the back there. It's been a physical match, but not overly physical. At least not dangerously so. It's been a lot of fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, no nastiness. There's been nothing untoward from either side. Played in a decent competitive spirit so far. It can all flare up towards the end of the game when bodies get tired and there's 3 points on the line.
Ownby for Tellefsen getting his first touch of the night here. Ahead it goes, big opportunity, and it's well wide.
Cam Lancaster always a threat on the edge of the box. He was trying to win himself a free kick in a dangerous position, and it was questionable. I thought for a second the referee might have considered it. The ball fell to Ray Serrano, who unfortunately couldn't hit target.
Serrano, somebody that his coaching staff feels has a lot of room to grow. Still just 21 years old. Second year with Lou City after starting his career with Tacoma Defiance, at least professionally.
As you mentioned a few times already, if you're going to play in an attacking role, you have to have some goals to your name. And so far for Ray Serrano, there isn't a single goal. A couple of assists, which is good. But needs to find the back of the net. Had that one chance a little bit earlier. Just missed the post by inches. That was a really good chance for him.
If no one else scores tonight, that's kind of the sequence that you'll look back on as the best chance for either side to get 3 points perhaps tonight. But still plenty of time to go. Throw here for Lou City. In front of some fans who just realized they were on the video board. Never ceases to amaze me how excited people get about that. This will be a Lou City corner, presented by Wi-Fi. Fans, head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/Lou City. Birmingham got its goal off a corner. Lou City hoping to do the same here. A lot of contact there in the box, but there's no foul. Crowd again making the appeal to Abdu Enjat. Ownby settles it. Brian Ownby still, chip into the 18, and it's just over Tyler Gibson.
That's a good run by Dylan Meres there. Just puts himself in a dangerous position. Ownby reads it, but just can't quite find him. He really has had a good impact on this game, Dylan Meres. Such a quality player, and would expect to see him as a regular starter for Lou City throughout the rest of the season.
Tonight, the 7th start of the year for Maris. Had the goal back in the 34th minute. Louisville 2023 ticket packages are available now. Lou City's next home match is on July 29th at 8 p.m. Bring your family and friends to Lynn Family Stadium when the boys in purple face Indy 11. Tickets are available at louiscity.com/tickets. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Justin Galanti. Glad to be with you tonight for the action from Lynn Family Stadium. 1-1 our score. Lou City with the goal in the 34th minute. Birmingham answered about 10 minutes after halftime. And now we're going to get another booking against Birmingham. A yellow shown here. Again, presented by World of Beer.
Jake Roof coming through very, very late there. Elbow up, yellow card every single time for me. So it is getting a little bit more physical now.
You'd expect nothing less in a match that both coaches called so important. I liked the way Tommy Soon put it about his Birmingham group. Was so happy last week with the way his group played, but he said one performance doesn't mean anything if we go out and don't play well on Saturday. So they're trying to back that one up. There's Rasmus Tellefsen for Amadou Dia. Maris again. Lou City out shooting Birmingham 6-4. 1-1 on target at the moment. Ray Serrano. Brian Ownby. Good bit of skill, but it's eventually poked away from him only as far as Wes Sharpie. Dia from Ownby. Amadou Dia cross back towards the middle. Lancaster puts it in on Van Okel, who has it.
Good build-up play. Amadou Dia does so well to get in the box and cut it back to Cam Lancaster. Just can't quite get enough power in it. Have a look here. Amadou Dia doing so well there, pulls it back. Cam's first touch takes it away from goal, so he has to stretch to shoot, and because of that can't get the power that he wanted. But again, the home side creating the pressure and pushing Birmingham Legion back. Now it's almost like punch for punch at the moment. Now they come and attack Lou City.
Lancaster again. Sent back out towards the middle of the pitch, only as far as Gibson. Serrano tried the backheel pass that wouldn't get through. The 80th minute in Louisville. Paolo Del Piccolo is going to come on here for Lou City and replace Dylan Maris. That substitution brought to you by Fortna. Birmingham, it'll be Moses Mensah and Deba Nwegbo coming on. Alvis comes off, as well as Prosper Kasim. So the freshest legs possible coming on for both head coaches here, with enough time remaining to still try and find a winner.
As Tom Sohn mentioned to us, when he subs on to win games, and he will tell his players, or his players will know, to attack Lou City right to the end. So strap in for what should be an exciting 10 minutes as both sides go for 3 points. Sometimes you get one side that'll just sit back and play for the draw and defend and try and leave with 1 point, but it doesn't look like this is going to happen in this match.
Comes back to Van Oekel. Jacob Roof. Nwegbo couldn't quite keep that in play.
Dangerous player in Nwegbo, 2 goals this season already against Loudon and against Indy. You've got Nico Brett's got 4 goals. You've got Juan Agudelo with 3, Enzo Martinez with 8. You've got some proper goal scorers in attack for Birmingham Legion now.
Entered the weekend tied for 10th in the league in goals scored with 26 of them. Added 1 to that number tonight. Enzo Martinez. Oh, what a move here by Brett. Couldn't quite keep the ball, though. And Oliver Zemla calmly picks it up. That looked extremely promising for a moment for Birmingham.
And Nico Brett hit the crossbar in the dying minutes in the last match against Tampa Bay. Thought he had the 2nd goal, so he will be and is a constant threat.
How have you felt tonight about the way Lou City has played compared to the last couple?
They've played well. It's been a decent game. This is a very, very good Birmingham side.
Here's a giveaway and a chance for Birmingham to attack, but a good recovery by Sean Tosh and Tyler Gibson as well. Still it's Nwegbo sending it in. Pops straight up into the air, and the half volley from Asiadu is taken easily by Zemla. Not sure if they'll give him credit for a save on those last couple. Probably that one. Won't be a clean sheet tonight for Zemla, but just hasn't had to do a ton of work outside that one shot that found the back of the net.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's been a very quiet night for him. So defensively, Blue City have been sound. Again, the mistake for me comes from a set piece, from a corner, allowing not a free header, but certainly a header without much pressure from Agudelo. And that one moment is the one downside of this match. Otherwise, obviously, they'd be 1-0 up. Now they've got to try and capture something and create something to get the winner. The danger is that Birmingham Legion are going to do the same. They're going to try and catch you on the counter. So it is 2 boxes just going blow for blow right now in the soccer sense.
Zemla knocks this down. So 85th minute here. And you just get the feeling, Gary, that we're still going to have some fireworks before we call it a night.
Oh, absolutely. Both teams want to win, so they're both going to put balls in the box and try and get shots on target.
Ray Serrano to Erasmus Tellefson run. Lancaster, nobody was really there as he spun and tried to pass it back really without looking. And Birmingham's able to get it out of trouble.
Thing with the draw is both teams stay where they are. Louisville City in 5th and Birmingham Legion in 7th with a game in hand. Really what either side wants from this match.
Said it already, but we'll say it again. As Tommy Soon put it when we asked him about ties. It takes 3 ties to equal 1 win. So if you win 1, lose 1, it really doesn't matter. Here's Nwegbu. A little bit of space, crosses it to the middle, a big chance, and oh, it's wide. Enzo Martinez won't miss the frame much from that distance.
Well, we said there'd be chances, and he's mortified because that was a good chance. He had time on his side. He was trying to pick out that far corner, and he pulled the ball. That's one thing if you've got a defender leaning all over you, but he didn't. He had time to settle himself, and he would have expected to have hit the target. He's still got his shirt over his head at the moment. Can't believe he didn't at least force Oliver Zemler into a save.
So Lou City set to make another substitution here. It looked like Elijah Winder was going to come on for Brian Ownby, but I'm not sure if Danny Cruz wants to make that sub right now, and it looks like he won't. So Ownby will stay on the pitch at least for now. Perhaps a change of heart from the head coach. You look at Brian Ownby, you can see he leaves everything he has out on that pitch. There's Del Piccolo. First time we've called his name. Tried to get it to Lancaster. It will result in a corner for Lou City. And this Lou City corner presented by Wi-Fi. Big chance late in this match.
Yeah, it's that normal combination. Del Piccolo and Cam Lancaster know each other so well. It was only good defending that stopped Lancaster getting on the end of that. He would have only been 5 or 6 yards out if he had been able to get to the ball.
Ray Serrano. A lot of weight on this ball. And no one touches it. Goal kick for Van Oekel.
Del Piccolo annoyed because I think he left it, believing that Manny Perez was behind him about to head it. Then Manny Perez left it as well, and between them, the ball just sailed harmlessly out for a goal kick.
Del Piccolo, impressive work. And now it's Brian Ownby. Turning back with it now, Ownby towards Del Piccolo. Good recovery by Ownby to keep the ball, and this will be a corner really all off the hard work of Brian Ownby.
Yeah, Ownby fantastic, switching to the right-hand side. I prefer him on the right-hand side, but with Musha Galusta not available and Ray Serrano more comfortable on the right, they had to shift him to the left. But I just feel he offers more, Brian Ownby. It's more natural attacking down the right-hand side.
Serrano sends it in. Ownby got a head on it, but wildly off target. And that corner again brought to you by Wi-Fi. 90th minute.
Yeah, pity for Ownby that he couldn't direct that header. He's not the biggest in the world, so for him, it's a climb above the defenders in the first place, and just couldn't head the ball down and couldn't head it towards Matt Van Oekel's goal.
Martinez was able to get it off, but Lou City recovers well defensively. That bounced up high. Nico Brett moving forward with it. Brett, it was deflected. It'll be a corner for Birmingham. And you can see some frustration from Asiadu. I think he wanted the ball there.
Also frustration for Nico Brett, because that could have been going in the top corner. Somebody put his head in the way. I couldn't see which defender it was, but whoever it was, that was a great bit of defending to deflect that ball over the crossbar and out for a corner.
4 minutes of stoppage time. So here is Corcoran. A low corner gets all the way through. I think it was last off of Sharpie, so now a corner from the other side for Birmingham, who is monopolizing stoppage time so far.
That was a dangerous moment. You can't allow balls to flash through, because just one red-shirted player puts a foot out and it's the winning goal. And it's, you know, they've conceded once from a corner. Got to be a lot tighter than they were last time around, so let's see if they can do better with this one.
Another low ball sent in, bounding through again and in!
Well, we just said it, you've got to be tighter in the corner, and Kronyale gets the winner. Thompson said he makes his aggressive subs to win games, and it seems to have worked out, but the corner before that one wasn't cleared properly. Zemmler furious with his defenders for allowing that ball to flash across the goal, because once you let it go past the near post, then it's very difficult to defend. You've got to get a body ahead of everybody else, and Kronyale, as it comes to a little back heel actually for a centre back, that's a good finish. But you cannot allow that ball to get in there. Now, to concede twice from corners, that's going to drive Danny Cruz absolutely crazy.
Alex Kronyale with his 3rd goal this season, and it might send Birmingham to 3 more points tonight and a 2nd consecutive really quality win against a good opponent.
Yeah, their 2nd win. Unfortunately for Lou City, it'll be a 3rd straight loss, and that's a worrying and unhappy trend.
Each team would have 29 points at the end of the night, unless something changes here very quickly. And Birmingham with a game in hand on Lou City.
In fact, Birmingham would go above Lou City on goal difference, so Lou City would be dropping to 6th place, Birmingham 5th, and Tulsa a point behind the boys in purple in 7th, so very tight there. Fortunately, there's a gap of 7 points from Lou City down to Indy in 8th, so a playoff place doesn't seem to be in jeopardy at this point, but certainly you want home games, and to do that, you've got to finish in the top 4.
And you have, Memphis tied right now. Birmingham, if Memphis did not earn any points this evening, Birmingham would be 1 point out of 4th all of a sudden. Still a little bit of time left for Lou City. Tyler Gibson. Nobody there for that one. And now it is all on our referee, Abdu Njai, for how long this match goes.
Bit of cramp at the end of the match, the crowd booing because they feel it could be time wasting.
I don't know about you, but that does not look like a time wasting face from Agudelo, who had the 1st goal tonight. Now says he's good.
Well, certainly Birmingham Legion have a wonderful attack, and it's been a threat all night long. We knew it would be, but the way they conceded, if you concede with great strikes and they play 1-2s through your defense, you hold your hands up, but 2 corners not dealt with. That's an annoying way to lose a match, because you should be able to stay with your man, keep tight. Juan Agadello's header, he'd lost his marker. That second one there, they didn't stop the ball at the near post. You know, 1 set-piece goal to concede is frustrating. 2, it's really unacceptable from Blue City.
How long will Abdu Njai let this go on? Blue City needing to make something happen, hoping for a miracle. It's cleared away. Still no whistle yet as Zemla gets to it. Tommy Soon's asking for the final whistle and not getting it. Manny Perez out wide for Ray Serrano. Perhaps one last chance. Headed on B. It's wide. And that might be the last hope for Lou City tonight.
Wow, great flick on from Cam Lancaster there with direction to Ombi, and Ombi inches away from making contact with that. Much, much better, but coming very, very late in the match. Matt Van Oekel just doing whatever he can to bleed some seconds off the clock.
And there's the final whistle. Kronyale with the winner in extra time. And Birmingham comes on the road and earns 3 points at Lou City.
Frustration for everyone involved with Lou City. Yes, they're a good side, Birmingham Legion. Yes, they're fantastic in attack. And yes, they are aggressive and they go for the wins. But to concede the goals the way Lou City did, and to only find the 1 goal, it's a 3rd loss on the row. It really is tough times, and all we can say is there's still 3 out of the next 4 are at home. All Lou City fans, get down to Lynn Family Stadium and try and give the boys in purple as much support as you can over the next few games.
Well, tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the match is Dylan Maris, who had the goal for Lou City. Had a big impact this evening, and being inserted into the starting lineup, you figure is going to get some more chances as the rest of the year goes on.
I would think so. I think he's a real quality midfield player, good finisher as we saw there. Added a lot on a day when Martin Powles, I thought, might have done something. Cam Lancaster came on and threatened a little bit, but you know, if your strikers aren't scoring, you want your midfielders to step up, and that's exactly what Dylan Maris did today.
So there's our final score. Birmingham Legion 2, Lou City 1. And that final score is brought to you by Gorski Law Office. Kronyale's extra time winner sends Birmingham to 3 points tonight. We'll take a break and wrap things up on the other side as Birmingham is a 2-1 winner tonight.
Fresh produce is the best produce. That's why at Kroger, we invest in local farmers to bring you the freshest seasonal picks. So no matter how you shop, your local produce always tastes as fresh as it gets. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Boost by Kroger Plus is more than worth it.
Give it to me, I'm worth it.
With 2 times fuel points and free delivery, you can save up to $1,000 per year. Try Boost free for 30 days. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Well, they say the grass is greener there, but ours is dreamy blue. And there's no place I would rather be than Kentucky with you.
It's game time, baby. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. It's game time. It's game time. 'Cause it's game time. 'Cause it's game time.
Welcome back to Lynn Family Stadium. The boys in purple fall tonight 2-1 at the hands of Birmingham Legion. This postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Gary Bailey, let's run through our full-time highlights from what was a very entertaining match here tonight. We expected it to be really good. It was really good. And it started about 11 minutes in, first opportunity of the night for Birmingham.
Yeah, Prosper Kasim down the right-hand side, found some space, cuts inside here, gets a shot that just bobbles in front of Oliver Zemler, but he does really well. The Lou City keeper just to get his body behind it. And there were chances on both ends here, the ball given away cheaply there. And a dangerous, dangerous moment. You don't want to give Enzo Martinez too many opportunities. And that one blocked again by Oliver Zemler. But then the breakthrough came for the boys in purple. Dylan Meres there turns, runs at the defense, passes it to Brian Ownby, tries to get it back, and the defender doesn't clear it properly, but what a good finish from just inside the box. And you can see that Matt Van Oekel doesn't even manage to get in a dive to try and save that, and that was, you know, a really good position they found themselves in at halftime. The boys in purple, have a look at it again. Ownby tries the ball in, and Dylan Meres gets it and just hooks it into that far corner. And then into the second half. Now, from the corner, Juan Agudelo gets away from Manny Perez and gets a good header in at the near post. You can't really afford to lose your marker in those environments. You've got to stay really touch tight, and Manny Perez unable to do that. And that was bad enough. But then they do it again in the dying moments, and this time it's Alex Kronyala who gets the back heel and finds the back of the net. And Justin, if you want to give teams chances from corners like that, you're going to pay the price.
So Kronyala with the winner for Birmingham, which has now beaten Tampa Bay at home and Lou City on the road in its last two. Let's take a look at the full-time stats brought to you by Pave Masters. Lou City outshot Birmingham 12-9. Birmingham 5-4 on target. Possession was slightly in favor of Lou City. Overall, a pretty even match, but Birmingham on those two set pieces able to take advantage and get the win. And by the way, let's give some credit to Matt Corcoran, who had the assist on both goals for Birmingham.
Yeah, decent corners put in, but you should still be able to deal with them. The expected goals is pretty even, 0.63 versus 0.68. So, yeah, the stats suggest that both teams had opportunities, and I guess a 1-1 draw would probably have been a fairer result. But for the goal in the last minute from the corner. But credit Birmingham Legion, they're positive, is what Tom Sohn wants. And that's what they did, and it paid dividends for them today.
So next up, Lou City will be at home to play Indy 11 next Saturday. And Birmingham will also be at home to take on Charleston Battery. So glad you could be with us tonight. Another tough result for the boys in purple. For our entire crew, my partner Gary Bailey, our producer Maria Ringo, I'm Justin Galanti saying good night. One more time, it's Birmingham with the winner in stoppage time, a 2-1 final over Lou City.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.